Hello, this is Bill Webb, aka Billy Indiana. Today I'm going to give a quick recap of all the games that I played, or my wife and I, or my game group played in the month of October 2022. So if you're curious to see what the table, stay tuned. So it's been a while since I've been able to put out one of these videos due to some travels and health issues and other things, but I'm glad to get back into this series of just kind of going back over the games that I play in a given month. And in October, I was able to get in 28 gameplays of 15 different games. 13 of them were new to me. And part of that is I spent a little bit of time at the World Series of Board Gaming. I've got a video on that I'll link up here, so you can check that out if you're curious. So I got to play several new games to me there. But I also have a game group that we meet every Thursday, and almost always we're playing games that are new to me there as well. So I'm going to recap my list kind of just from least played to most played, kind of in ascending order that way. And then at the end, I'll let you know my two top picks for the month, my favorite game that wasn't new to me, and my favorite game that was. So first up on the list, one that's not new to me, but one that I did get to play, and that is Cascadia. This is a game by AEG. It's created by Randy Flynn, who has Tabriz, I think, currently on GameFound, being crowdfunded. But Cascadia is one of my favorites, and it's probably one of my most played games all time. And I got to play this one at actually the World Series of Board Gaming. I unfortunately lost in the first round on an outer ring tournament, but it was fun to play again. It had been quite a while. And maybe want to get this one back to the table again. Such a beautiful game and just a really pretty puzzle. So enjoyed my gameplay of Cascadia. Second is a new one to me, and this is Summer Camp. Picked this one up at Target. It was on clearance, and thought, I like Phil Walker Harding games a lot of times, and this production by Buffalo Games and the last couple that I've seen have been really high quality, so wanted to check it out. Plus, summer's fun, and my wife just has tremendous memories of summer camps, so thought it might be one we would enjoy. And deck building is a mechanism that I really enjoy. And we did have fun with this one. It's pretty light, and while the theme comes through, it seemed to be maybe a little plotting. I think we would definitely want to come back and play it. There's a lot of variety because you choose the different patches or different activities you include in the game each time. And so I do want to come back to it and try it again. So summer camp was fun for us, one that we'll probably keep for now. It would be very easy to teach to people who haven't played very many games, and maybe if you want to help them understand what deck building can be like. So we'll keep it around for now and hopefully get to play it again some more in the future. Summer camp. Next one, only had a chance to play this one once so far, but this is HerStory by Underdog Games, and I was really excited for this one and ordered it because I love playing games with my family, and my daughters and my granddaughters, I think, would really enjoy playing this game, and I would love playing it with them. And so Janelle and I had a chance to just play it, the two of us. It wasn't terrific at two players just because you don't cycle through the tokens or the cards very much. I'm really excited to play it at more. You can play up to 5. And we're coming up on holidays, so I'm going to take it on Thanksgiving out to some family time that we're going to have in Arizona, and hopefully get to play it with more than just the two of us. And then definitely be taking it at Christmas when we get to go spend some time with both of our daughters, one up in Seattle, one down in San Antonio, and their kids. So looking forward to that. And I really enjoyed the play. It's very simple. Art is beautiful. I love the theming. But I'm excited to try it with more players. So that is HerStory by Underdog Games. Next up, another Underdog Games production, that is Trekking Through History. And played this one a couple of times, played it in at home with just Janelle, played it with some friends, played it with Julian and Libby from Boxed Meeples. They were here visiting in the States a while back and got to play it. So this is one that returned to the table for us. I really enjoy this game. It is simple, but there's just enough thinkiness about it that you have to kind of plan ahead and make some tough decisions. So I really enjoyed it, and I like the theme. I enjoy looking at the art. I enjoy scanning through the history facts on the back of the cards. So this is a game that I enjoy and look forward to playing again, Trekking Through History. All right, next up, one that my wife and I started playing here recently, Aeon's End Legacy. And we've been trying to play as many legacy and campaign games as we can this year. This is our latest one, and we've only had a chance to play it a little bit, but we're actually hopefully going to play it a little bit here today, this afternoon. Aeon's in. This was actually a game gifted to us by some friends who'd played it and then bought the kind of recharge pack and set it all up for us. And then they also gifted us Aeon's End, and they taught us how to play it. And so now we're going through this and really excited to continue through the legacy version of this game. We just played the first kind of introductory games so far. So today we're going to hopefully dig in a little bit deeper, maybe get a couple rounds in. The next one I have on the list is one that I don't own, but it's a great game by Alexander Pfister. I think it's a reworking, reimagining of Mombasa, and it's called Skymines. Got to play this with my game group. Really enjoyed it and look forward to trying to play it again. It's one that I'd be interested in adding to my collection. I enjoyed it enough that I think that might be one I would want to own. The level of complexity might be limiting in terms of how often I could get it to the table here at home, because it's mostly just my wife and I. And I'm not sure how to play it too, but we really liked it at 4. So Skymines was a great one. Next up, another new game to us, Paris. And this is the Devere Games version. There's a couple different kinds of games called Paris. This is a little 2-player game by Devere. We got to play this one while we were up at Angels Camp in Central California, up by Yosemite. We took a long weekend when we had a little fall break from school, and we just went hiking and got out in the woods and went to a couple parks. And one of the days we took some of these tile laying games like this one, and where we could play at a picnic table, and just really enjoyed this one. I think I enjoyed it more than Janelle did. It's got 2 phases to the game. And so there's quite a bit of planning and thinking, and I liked that strategy that came with it. I'd like to play it again, and I think she would too, but I think I did enjoy it more than she did. So that's another one that we played new to us this month. Next up is one that I actually only played online, and it was new to me, and that's Oceans. Had a chance to play an online version of it. The Kickstarter for an expansion, I think, is out right now. I forget if it's an expansion or like a new version of it. But I was curious about it, so I found the online version and got a chance to play kind of a tutorial game of that. And I did enjoy it. I'd like to try the actual game after having just played the digital version. I do play online some, but not very often, and most of the time it's because I just prefer to have the physical pieces and play on the table instead of being in front of my computer. I'm at the computer a lot at school throughout the day, and so I'd prefer to just have an actual game. So I'd like to try that again, but haven't yet. Next up is one of my favorite all-time games, and it's just this little one, Joraku. And I have this tiny box TMG version of the game, but I was able to meet one of my new friends down in Camarillo, and he had the deluxe version, and it was gorgeous. And it also had actual official rules for 2-player. And so we were able to just do that as a 2-player game. I really enjoyed it. He hadn't played, and so we kind of were figuring out the 2-player rules together, and he was sort of figuring out the strategy as we went. I'd like to play this again in the future with he or anyone else, and I loved using his deluxe version. But Joraku is just a really fun trick-taking game where you've got area majority, I guess, more than control, and you're trying to take control of certain areas that are constantly changing from round to round. And the trick-taking's also got some unique mechanisms to it as well. So really loved Joraku and enjoyed getting another play of that in. All right, next up is one that I played at the World Series of Board Gaming and don't own. But we had a chance to try Cat in the Box, and another trick-taking game, but where your cards are all black and you decide what color they are. But then you have to keep track on this chart, player board, of which colors and numbers you've played, because once they're played, obviously you can't play them again. And so you could end up having a paradox if you end up not being able to play, or you're trying to play a card that's already been played. It's really an interesting twist on trick-taking, and I'd love to try to play it again. Just had a chance to play it one time so far. Next up was another one that I don't own but played with our game group, and that is Age of Steam. And typically games with this sort of theme and kind of the economic version of game, they don't necessarily call me out. They don't draw me in as much. But I've played a few recently that I have enjoyed, and Age of Steam really pleasantly surprised me. I was looking forward to playing it because I know a lot of people really love it. But I honestly didn't have super high expectations, and it's definitely exceeded my expectations. I really did enjoy it and would look forward to playing that one again. Next up is one, again, I played at World Series of Board Gaming in one of those outside tournaments, and that is Stone Age, the classic game. I had never played it before, so I played it once with my friends that were there. One of my friends was actually competing, and we were guests of his there, and so they taught us how to play it, he and his wife. Had a great time, and then I jumped into that Outer Ring tournament and got smoked by people who've been playing it for a long time, but I really did enjoy it. It's a fun game, and I could see I don't know if it's necessarily one I'd add to my collection at this point in my gaming collection. I have so many other games that I would think I would probably choose over it, but it was definitely fun, and I'd always be willing to play it. Next up is another new one to me, and one that I played with my friend down in Camarillo. He taught this one to me. It is Rome, and this is a Ryan Lockett game, one of his small box games, but with the same art that we come to love from the Near and Far, Above and Below, all those different games in his Arzium, I think it's called, the world. And Rome is a fun little, you got these tiles, and you're, again, trying to take kind of area control to a degree. You're trying to cover up the sections of a card, but depending on the different abilities you gain throughout the game, you might be able to cover up another player's tokens and move them off. And once you fill the whole card, you get it, and you get the action or the advantage of that card for the rest of the game. You're taking on different characters with different traits, and they have different sort of Tetris shapes of how you're putting your pieces down. So there's a lot of strategy and planning that comes into it. And it's not really a lot of take that, though. I mean, you can get after each other just a little bit, and you try to block each other and pin each other in and things. But yeah, I really enjoyed this game and look forward to playing it again in the future. All right, let's see where I'm at on my list here. I also tried a new one at the World Series of Board Gaming, Splendor Marvel Edition. And I just played it the one time. I kind of read through the rules real quick and played with a friend of ours that was there. Really enjoyed it. I feel like it gave Marvel a fresh feel. And I don't know that I'll rush out and buy it, but I would like to play it again. I played Splendor a lot and just haven't played it much in a while because there's so many other games that I prefer, but I still do enjoy it. And the couple of twists in the game that the Marvel version gave kind of, yeah, reinvigorated my interest in that. So we'll see. I might end up, if I could find a real cheap sale on it, I might pick it up, or definitely would be interested in playing that at a game store, game cafe that might have it on the shelves. All right, okay, and I think we're just down to the last two here now, yeah. So another one that I actually bought right before we went to the World Series of Board Gaming, but then we played while we were there, and this is Marvel Remix. This is a spin-off or a newer version of Fantasy Realms, if you've ever played that, or if you played Red Rising, the Stonemaier game. It's kind of the same type of game where you're collecting cards and trying to combo those cards to maximize your points, but with a Marvel theme. And in Fantasy Realm, you just have one deck and one discard area, but in this one, you've got two decks. You've got a hero deck and in that, there's also allies and weapons and different things in that deck, and then there's also the enemy deck. So you're trying to do the same thing as in Fantasy Realms, but with those two decks of cards, and you have to have both an enemy and a hero at least in your hand, along with the other cards you might collect. And so you're trying to balance quite a few things and pair up things. So it was really interesting. Didn't win any of the games we played, but I really enjoyed it. We got a few games in of that one. And then the last one, the one that I actually have played most this month, and that is Smitten. It's just this little 18-card game on my channel. If you want to check it out, I'll post a link up here. But I've got a solo playthrough of it, so if you want to see how that plays solo. I have played it solo a bunch and played it two-player quite a few times with my friend down at Camarillo and then also my wife. But Smitten is just, it's trying to create two 3x3 grids that when you get the cards all in place, it creates a picture, and so they have to go in order. But you're doing this with limited communication and cooperatively, or like I said, solo. So this was a promotional game that Stonemaier Games put out to celebrate their 10th anniversary. And like I said, I've enjoyed it a lot solo, but I think I do definitely enjoy it even more cooperative. It's much harder cooperative than it is solo, in my opinion. So those are the games that I played in October. In terms of my favorite games, the game that was not new to me, that I got back to the table, that I enjoyed the most, was Joraku. And I'm not sure if it's because I just really love this game, or if it's because we got to play with the Deluxe Edition, or if it's a combination of those things, but it just reminded me of how much I enjoy this game and how special this game is in terms of its design. I haven't played it a ton because in this version, you're supposed to play with just 3 or more, and that's just not something we always have available. But I really, really enjoyed it. So this is my favorite back to the table game, and looking forward to playing it again. And then my favorite new to me game isn't one that I own, but it's Skymines. And again, when I was first learning the game, I thought, wow, this is kind of complex. We play a lot of Lacerda and Pfister games in our game group, so it wasn't significantly more complex than any other games. But at the beginning, I just wasn't quite syncing with the strategies. And about halfway through the game, I felt like it started to click. I was like, oh, okay, now I'm seeing how this fits together. Now I'm seeing how these combos work. And I had never played Mombasa, so this was kind of my first time with this sort of a game. But I really did enjoy it, and I would love to play it again. And I know the copy that my friend has a second side to the board, and that second side changes the game up more. So I'd really love to try that as well. So Skymines was my favorite new to me game of October 2022. So down in the comments below, let me know if you've played any of these games and what you think about them. And also tell me what was your favorite gameplay in the month of October. I'd love to read those comments. As always, thanks for watching. This is Billy Indiana, signing off.